I'm the Irish guy, and Manchester United right now are like that sad little orphan who wants filthy rich parents to adopt him. This isn't just some ordinary little boy with a Ron Weasley haircut. No, let's pretend this is one of Will Smith's kids. They feel a huge level of self-importance, and so want to continue living a rich life of luxury. So yeah, they will be twerking for some billionaire businessman to bring them home. That is Manchester United's current relationship with Qatar. So many of their fans were frothing at the mouth for the sickening levels of billions that would surely have them back competing for titles. But in the end, Sheikh Jassim has failed with a takeover bid, paving the way for Jim Ratcliffe to swoop in, which again, for a poor little orphan, is probably a bit like being told to now go and live in a one-bedroom council flat with some frail old woman who could only afford cream cheese, noodle soup, and Kit Kat bars for tea. Lads, apparently the Qataris were prepared to commit 6.5 billion. Apparently their shopping list targets for the first transfer window were going to be Bayern Munich's Kingsley Coman, Real Madrid's Eduardo Camavinga, and PSG megastar Kylian Mbappe. Again, for the poor Man United fans reading those rumors now, it must be a bit like hearing that Santa Claus was on his way to delivering a PlayStation 7 down your chimney, only for one of his reindeers to fall asleep and crash the sleigh into a Chinese nursing home. But don't worry, lads, because Qatar might have been foiled in their quest for world domination, a bit like some baldy bad guy in a James Bond film. But don't worry, because Jim'll fix it. What? Jim Ratcliffe is trying to buy a 25% stake in Manchester United and will be given control of the footballing decisions. Yes, James Arthur Ratcliffe. No, not the X Factor winner who I severely creeped out when I kept touching him.
Hey Jimmy, what's going on? What's going on? Where's the goals? Well, where's the 30-yard bangers? Football ability's not linking up with what you're singing, alright? Blasting on the X Factor, get on the bench. We get you a goal in a second half, yeah? Yes.
No, Ratcliffe is that really desperate old man who's been shamelessly trying to buy his way on the match of the day for years. He is a supposed die-hard Manchester United fan who made his money in chemical engineering, but oh, guess what? Because rich English businessmen are seemingly allergic to living outside of pompous West London, because if they woke up one morning and didn't have immediate access to 5-star vegan lattes and homemade almond croissants, oh, they'd probably sneeze blood all over their living room rug. So yes, he lives in West London, and despite being a Man United through and through, is a Chelsea season ticket holder and actually tried to buy them last year too. This guy probably spends every single Chelsea match sitting in his swanky box, sipping on Peruvian wine while sycophantly laughing at Jeremy Clarkson's jokes. He's just a rich Rory Jennings, and Manchester United are letting him move into the club. If you were that big a Man United fan, you would probably burst into flames after your 9th Chelsea game in a row. No, it'd be a bit like giving me a front row seat to watching all 7 Harry Potter films. I would sooner that Dumbledore gets sick on my face. Radcliffe and his company, Ineos Chemicals Group, they run and control OGC Nice in France. But he's also advised by bankers JP Morgan. So, considering Manchester United were recently owned by Limerick billionaire JP McManus back in the Fergie days, and now they're jumping into bed with JP Morgan. Oh, so what? Is it now Manchester United tradition for every 20 years or so to put themselves at the mercy of some billionaire called JP? What next? You'll want to be bought by a 50-year-old Jake Paul? Look, this man has had a mental life. He's made expeditions to the North and South Pole. There's a guy who, yeah, might have kissed Santa in the snow to the Notebook soundtrack playing on his phone. There's a man who's competed in a literal marathon in the Sahara Desert. I'm sorry, what? How did he survive? Did he stop every 100 yards to drink camel wee? He has lived a rich and impressive life, but he is not a football owner. He is going to destroy Manchester United. I know he is. This is a man who owns 2 other football clubs, one being FC Lausanne Sport, a Swiss Super League club who he bought in 2017. Yeah, they've since been relegated twice. The most recent relegation of 2022, when they were 18 points away from safety. 18 points. Look at that table. Ratcliffe had promised when he bought them that he'd get them up the league, challenging for Europe, that they'd one day be chasing young boys. You know, Jim'll fix it. Oh, I've really got to stop referencing that show. The truth is that he's neglected that Swiss project to concentrate on Nice in France. This is a man who took over an exciting, swashbuckling, up-and-coming French team who'd played pretty football under Lucien Favre and then Patrick Vieira, regularly finishing inside the top 10, qualifying for Europe. Ratcliffe was supposed to take this club to the next level. Lads, French football is crying out for another monster takeover. That is such a dead and depressing league. It needs another super takeover to just sort of give PSG a challenge. Earlier this month, we heard reports that Marseille were about to be given a mega Saudi makeover. Yes, please. There were rumors that Gennaro Gattuso was going to be chucked out of his manager's job after just a week and replaced with Zinedine Zidane. French football needs another PSG. And let's be real, Marseille are a bigger club. Wow. They've won the league 9 times, finished second 13 times, lifted 17 domestic cups, reached 3 Europa League finals and 2 Champions League finals, winning 1 in 1993. This is a proud historic club who've been around since the 1800s. While PSG, were literally invented just 2 years before the first Godfather film. I want to see a monster Marseille chucking around stupid paychecks like PSG instead of just being a one-horse title race every year, save for the occasional season every 5 years, where PSG catch hay fever in the spring, allowing teams like Montpellier, Monaco, or Lille to sneak in. But no, I want to see a colossal battle of money. But Nice, over the course of 4 years, he has taken them from 7th to 9th. This is a man who openly criticized Manchester United for buying Casemiro last summer. Yeah, on his watch, he has signed absolute pudding meatballs like Ross Barkley, Aaron Ramsey, Joe Bryan, Nicolas Pepe. There was that entire mess surrounding chucking fat cash at a 36-year-old Kasper Schmeichel before feeding his contract to a shredder after just a year. I'm not sure what he did. Maybe he broke character to do something weird like take a poo in the gaffer's lunchbox, but he was pretty much sacked, forcing him to crawl out to Anderlecht on a free. There has always been a foul stench of toxic atmosphere emanating from this club. Whether it's the club having to sack one of their promising young players, Lamine Diaby Fadiga, for literally stealing his teammate Kasper Dolberg's £62,000 watch. I mean, is this an ambitious football club trying to hunt down the Champions League? Or is it just some posh little school for the rich? There was that whole mess where Vieira was admitting he wanted to slam his own striker Mario Balotelli against the wall, saying that he was less than average, and he just dropped him from the squad. Weren't these guys supposed to be friends from their Man City days? Nice is like the hotel in The Shining. There is just a horrible toxic atmosphere at the club. Even this week, they suspended their own defender, Youssef Attal, for a social media post. 2 years ago, they were docked points and a player suspended after an on-pitch mass brawl with Marseille. Their manager, Christophe Gauthier, quit after a fight with the board, and he was recently arrested for things he might have done while he was manager. Yeah, he's currently manager of Al Dahail, yeah, but he's got a trial in France in December. There's other issues that happened at Nice that I don't want to go into, and this one is far more serious and deep than these other petty disagreements. And it doesn't have anything to do with what I'm actually getting at here, but I don't want to pass a Nice video without comment. I feel it must be said, okay? I'm relieved that Alexis Becca is safe. But yeah, back to the Nice problems. Lads, last year, Nice needlessly hijacked Leeds United's deadline day bid for Marseille winger Bamba Dieng, which just completely messed with his head, leaving him upset, angry, and crying in a stranded private jet. So instead of Leeds, he had to go and race to Nice to sign, but he failed his medical and they just chucked him back to his Marseille exile where he barely played because of them getting unhelpfully involved. They destroyed his Premier League dream and wasted an entire season of his life. Nice are not nice. This is the meanest Nice since mighty Cyrus spattered Ant in the face. Okay, I have no idea if that's true, it's just a bad pun. But lads, it is not a happy club, and the Nice fans know that. They've been protesting against Ratcliffe for months. There's been boycotts and everything. It is a club with no real ambition. It just seems like Ratcliffe wants to go out there and hire his British mates. Last year, Nice were sniffing around appointing Scott Parker as manager, just a month after being fired by Bournemouth for losing 9-0. Graham Potter was the favourite for the gig in May after his Chelsea embarrassment. I don't understand. The man is a Chelsea season ticket holder. Ratcliffe should be completely sick of Potter by now, which is probably why he stays away from every Comic-Con. I mean, isn't that why he couldn't wait to film The Woman in Black? Does anyone get that joke? To be fair, they have plumb for Francesco Farioli instead, a Roberto De Zerbi disciple, and he now has them second in the league, unbeaten in 8 with 5 clean sheets. And last month they won away at PSG and are now above them in the league. But come on, we all know that will not last. Nice are a poisoned club, giving Ratcliffe power and control at Old Trafford. It will be a disaster. You're just going to be sniffing around bang average British managers, blokes who are just in his London circle, guys who he has on WhatsApp. I genuinely would not be shocked to see Gareth Southgate given the job once Eric Ten Hag goes. Absolutely. It just feels like the sort of bland as mustard, stale, boring appointment. Just like when Nice wanted Parker. For a proud Englishman like Ratcliffe, he'll probably think that it's a monster coup to attract the actual England manager, the head of the national team, to Old Trafford. I feel like when a young, hungry, and ambitious Man City hired Sven-Göran Eriksson in 2007, and Chelsea also wanted to make him their first manager of their new moneybags regime back in 2003, both clubs wanted him to be a statement, a big daddy power move. Yeah, Eriksson was sacked in his first season as City boss after losing 8-1 at Middlesbrough. Within a year, he was working for Notts County in League 2, but you just know Ratcliffe has gone to many a swanky dinner party with the likes of Southgate. You just know they're mates, and people within the Manchester United boardroom had Southgate on their shortlist to replace Jose Mourinho in early 2019 when they had Odegaard and Solskjaer keeping the seat warm. Wow, replacing Mourinho with Southgate. Will people like Eminem cancelling a concert and giving everyone a refund ticket to go and watch KSI instead? No thanks. Lads, look at Nice's academy. What absolute stardust have they produced on Ratcliffe's watch? According to transfermarket.com, their second most valuable academy product right now is Neil Maupay, someone who is about as talented as a melted Twix. Honestly, right now, the best current player out of their academy is probably still Hugo Lloris, who graduated 18 years ago and who surprisingly is still at Spurs. I assumed he'd left. Why, is he just trapped in the attic? I'm half convinced the rest of the Tottenham staff probably assume he left for a club in Brazil without realizing he's actually trapped in the wall. If Manchester United give the power to Ratcliffe, it will doom your club. This man is nothing more than a rich attention seeker. If he had things his way, he'd have taken control of Chelsea last year, not Todd Bowley. Is that really the actions of a diehard Manchester United fan? Someone who's got the club's best interest in his heart? No, the bloke just wants attention, power and status to be able to say he owns a Champions League club in England. I think he's proven at Nice and Lausanne Sport that his ambitious promises mean nothing. This man is a spoofer, a joker, someone who wants bland British coaches and bland British players. Forget the Qatari shopping list. On Ratcliffe's watch, considering he bothered to waste time with the likes of Barkley, Ramsey and Bryan, he'll probably sanction a £50 million deal for John McGinn next summer if everything went down. I can see a desperate deadline day loan move for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. There's a man who votes on emotion and nostalgia. I mean, Ramsey and Barkley at Nice. Is it any surprise they were both Manchester United transfer targets in the past? Kasper Schmeichel was clearly only signed because Ratcliffe probably used to like watching his daddy play at Old Trafford. This summer gone, they just tried to buy Ben Barrett and Diaz from Blackburn. Decent player, yeah, but guess what? Spent 7 years at Manchester United too. Ratcliffe strikes me as the type of person who next summer, if they both squeak into the championship playoffs, oh, he'll be interviewing both Michael Carrick and Wayne Rooney for the job. Honestly, lads, just no. Anyway, that's you. Let me know what do you think. Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give a like. So as always, I'll talk to you in a while.